Hi, today is January 26, 2017. I'm traveling in a car. I'm not driving. I'm in the passenger seat. My name is Nicole Ramos. I'm an immigration attorney. I'm based out of Tijuana, Mexico. I work with asylum seekers who are trying to present themselves at the port of entry at San Ysidro, which borders Tijuana. Tonight, I accompanied an attorney and her client who is he's from Eastern Europe. He is a political candidate. He was imprisoned for his political beliefs. His passport was confiscated by his government, along with the valid U.S. visa that he had in there. He came to the port of entry seeking asylum and was told by CBP that he had to first go to Mexico in order to get a processing ticket. I advised the CBP officers that the processing system with Mexico is only for Haitian migrants, as is evidenced by the Washington Post article, which interviewed the head of the INM here in Tijuana, who indicated that the system was only for the Haitians. Supervisor came out. Again, I will not name the supervisor publicly because of safety considerations, but she was a woman, she was Hispanic, and she was of short stature, and she had a bad attitude. She refused to hear anything that I had to say. She told me I had no right to be there. She threatened to have me removed from the premises by Grupo Beta or law enforcement because I was loitering. I explained I am not loitering. I am there to make sure that you are respecting the process, which you are not. I'm there to make sure you are following the law, which you are not. Title 8, Section 1225 requires CBP officers, when confronted with a person who expresses a fear of return to their home country or the intention to apply for asylum, CBP is required to refer that person to the asylum office for a credible fear interview and to take that person into detention. What is even more galling in this case is that this man had a valid U.S. visa. All they had to do was go look in their system. He had an identity card with his valid identity. He did not have his passport because his government confiscated it. This is the epitome of just insanity. They are closing the borders. They are delegating asylum-seeking processes to a foreign government, despite the Washington Post article quoting the head of CBP that no policy change has been made in place. This woman was completely aggressive. She refused to have any interaction with me. She told the man, who was not even my client, she forced his attorneys to walk through the port of entry, so I had to stand back there arguing with her. She told this man that I am a liar and that I am a troublemaker. I am not a liar. The problem is I'm telling the truth. I'm there watching you guys, and I'm telling the truth of what is happening. And I know what the law is, and I know you're not following it. So if that's trouble for you, that you can't follow the law, well, then maybe you should find a different career in law enforcement, because the border is not closed. He is not from one of the 5 countries that was designated in the executive order. He is a political prisoner, and he has the right to seek asylum. This is enshrined in our domestic law. It is enshrined in our international law. And frankly, I am just tired. I am tired of this agency, which has no accountability, just rejecting asylum seekers and sending them somewhere where they can't get any help because Mexico's not going to give him the ticket. So what are we to do? What are we to do, people? What are we to do? I was threatened tonight. And I don't care. Because I told her I'll call the National Commission for Human Rights because I have a right to be here. I am not only an immigration attorney, I am a defender of human rights, and I am observing the human rights be violated routinely day in and day out at this port of entry, which seems to think it has the ability to make its own rules. It doesn't. The process was not approved by Congress. That process is not in the federal code. That process is not in the Code of Federal Regulations. That is a process that was invented this summer. That is not a process that this man is subject to. And frankly, every single one of you should be pissed that our government is now closing off the border to asylum seekers. That is what they are doing. This man had a valid U.S. visa that was stolen from him by his government. What else are we supposed to do? Her response is, well, you don't fear persecution in Mexico. That is not your job function. Your job function is someone says, I'm afraid, I want to apply for asylum. Okay, sir, I'm going to take you in for custody and refer you to ICE so you can have a credible fear interview. That is the process. And if you all don't know the process, maybe we need to get you some better training manuals. But I am sick and tired of this, and I'm not going away. None of us are going away. And your names and the names of every officer that continues to violate the human rights is going to be published. So you should be prepared for the consequences. And that is not a threat. That is me demanding that this agency continue to follow the law because I am tired. I need help down here. I need more attorneys coming to this port of entry. If they are going to refuse to allow asylum seekers to present themselves, which they are entitled to under the law, then it is incumbent upon you, the legal community, to get your asses down here and fucking help. Okay, because these people are stuck here. These people are being told they don't have the rights, that they don't have any rights. And now human rights defenders like myself are being threatened with arrest and being removed from the premises. I am a United States citizen. I have a right to be in the port of entry. I have a right to observe the violation of human rights, and I have a right to report on those violations. So I am not a troublemaker. I am just a pain in your ass because I'm making you do your job. And I'm sorry about that, but not really. So why don't you just do your job?